A Japanese safety inspector says the Boeing 787 that made an emergency landing yesterday had a battery that was swollen and leaking after it overheated. The FAA has ordered all 787s in the United States to be grounded for safety inspections. And this morning, European regulators followed suit. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is here. Peter, good morning.
Good morning.
I feel like you have been on top of this story from the very beginning. This is big news.
It is big news. Now, it's not an unprecedented situation that the FAA would ground an entire aircraft type, but it is highly unusual. I can think of maybe 2 times in the last 60 years that this agency has grounded an aircraft type. One was in the late 50s, the Comet, the British Airways Comet, or the British-made Comet. And then in 1979, the DC-10, after that terrible crash with American 191 in Chicago, they grounded the entire fleet. And once the FAA does that, every other country will follow their lead and ground that type, which is exactly what's happened here.
All these problems come from a single reason?
We don't know that yet. What we do know is that this is a plane that depends more on electrical input than any other plane ever built. And the problems that we've had more often than not have been with electrical systems, especially the lithium-ion battery that we saw in the Boston case in the aft cargo compartment.
And everybody argues about this 787 Dreamliner that they had the parts made in different places. Some of it was made in Italy, some of it was made somewhere else, some of it was made in the United States.
It is the most outsourced plane ever built. Now, that by itself is not a problem. The problem is oversight and inspection. And so what the FAA is looking at right now is not just design or materials. They're looking at the production line and they're looking at the installation. And that's what's going to keep this plane on the ground until they can figure out if there is a system problem.
So what does it mean for Boeing?
Well, it's not exactly their best public relations day in history, number one. But the thing is this. Remember, they're grounding this plane at a time of the plane's basically infancy. It's not that the plane's been flying for 5 years. Boeing's got more than 800 planes on order. It's a very popular plane among airlines. Their order books are very, very robust at this point. They're going to work as quickly as they can to get to the bottom of this. It's in everybody's best interest. But the bottom line right now is you got a plane right now for the first time in my memory, since 1979 really, that's actually been put on the ground. It's an airworthiness directive, Charlie, that basically says you cannot fly this plane until we fix this problem.
Would you get on one?
You asked me that question last week and I said yes. This airworthiness directive means right now we're waiting and we're seeing.
And how long will it take them to answer these questions?
Well, speed is of the essence on one level because of the economic impact, but they're going to take their time on this. Remember, they got to look at the entire custody, the chain of custody of parts, materials, and installation to figure out where the problems are. Is it an installation problem or a system problem? The lithium-ion battery is a problem. We've had 2 serious fires on planes already, one fatal with a UPS plane near Dubai last year where they catch fire when they overheat. You mentioned overheating. And when that happens, very few fire suppression systems on current planes can handle that kind of fire. And the one thing you do not want at 35,000 feet is an electrical fire.
Peter Greenberg, thank you.